What's going on YouTube? So the minivan segment saw a lot of big moves last year, including this Kia Carnival getting a major overhaul. And today we're with the latest 2026 model in its fully loaded trim level with the VIP seating package to see what this top model is all about. So, is anything new for 2026? And should you pick this over the Sienna? Well, let's go ahead and find out. All right, let's kick things off here with our spec dump as always. So for 2026, the Carnival continues to be available with a 3.5-liter V6 or the new hybrid system. The hybrid makes 241 horsepower. This V6 makes 290 horsepower. It's paired to a 8-speed automatic transmission with the V6, and our combined fuel economy for this model is 21 mpg.
Now, the base price for the Carnival in 2026 is $37,000, and if you're looking to buy one or any new vehicle, we'd encourage you to go to carconfections.com/newcarquotes to get the best price. Now, of course, later on, we're going to be taking it out for a spin to see how the powertrain performs, as well as get things like our sound level reading, and at the end, we'll discuss resale and reliability.
But let's go ahead and close up the hood so that we can take a look at the exterior as well as the interior, most importantly. So for the exterior design, 2026 is not going to bring any major updates. This model, of course, as we just mentioned, was heavily updated just last year. And with that refresh, you did see the latest elements kind of applied to this model, including the signature tiger nose grille. The big thing, though, is, of course, the lighting. So this has really distinct lighting. You've got the very long LED daytime running light and turn signal indicator. It's finished in the amber color, so it's super distinct looking when you see one out on the road. And as far as the headlights themselves are concerned, you'll notice that we have the projector stacked LEDs. This is standard on our top-end SX Prestige. The other models still get LEDs, but they're the reflector style LEDs. Down below, we're also going to find LED fog lights. That's included on your top two trim levels. And then moving around to the back, you'll find the latest Kia design with the extra elongated lighting.
Yeah, it matches very well with the front. Overall, I think it's a pretty handsome looking minivan. Now, as far as some design touches, we have the spoiler up top. All of our badging and the surround is going to be kind of blacked out for this fully loaded example. And as we drop down to the lower fascia, no exposed exhaust outlets or anything like that, but your tow rating is 3,500 pounds if you choose the V6 or 2,500 pounds with the hybrid.
Now moving on to the wheels, you have selections between 17 and 19 inches, depending on which trim level you choose. Most of the models, though, come with the 19-inch alloys. However, one of the ways you'll know you're looking at an SX Prestige, the loaded model, is the fact that this one has the exclusive gloss black design here, which I think looks quite nice with the overall paint color. As far as the mirrors, you can see we've got a smoked gray finish up top here. Of course, all models will have standard blind spot monitoring as well as heated mirrors. Power folding abilities are coming on the EX trim level and above.
Now, at the side of the Carnival, the overall vehicle length is 203 inches long, which is pretty darn big. And also, you'll notice that it is very squared off, which gives you a little bit more of a SUV-like appearance. You have your raised roof rails up top, and then this piece through the center section. Now, as far as your safety systems are concerned, of course, that is very important for a family vehicle like this. You're going to have all 4 active safety features as standard equipment. That will include things like Highway Drive Assist 1.0, and if you choose the SX or above, that will even give you Highway Drive Assist 2.0. But guys, there's a fantastic interior for the family on the inside, so let's dive into that. But first, if you're new here, we're brothers, and we've been reviewing cars since we were 12
and 16. We started young, and since then, we've reviewed over 2,000 cars at every price point.
No matter what you're looking for, from our long-term vehicle videos to our side-by-side comparisons, we'd love for you to subscribe to be a part of our Car Confections family.
Let's learn a lot and have some fun with all the latest cars. All right, now let's move to the inside. First, of course, we'll take a quick look at the key fob. As you can see, we've got Kia's Smart Entry key fob. It has some extra buttons for the doors and stuff on the side. You have standard Smart Entry and remote start on all models. That means you can walk up to the vehicle, the mirrors will fold out on approach, and there is a sensor behind the door handle to unlock the door. Now, taking a look at the interior. Just like with the exterior, this received some pretty significant updates just last year. And let's start off by talking about our seats as always. So you've got a wide variety of materials, starting with cloth, moving to leatherette for your center trims, and then when you get to this top trim, that's where you move to a real leather seat. As you can see, we've got kind of just the simple black, but you can also get some different colors, including Tuscan Umber. That's my favorite color option for a little bit of a richer appearance overall, but the seats are nice and high quality. As you can see, we've got 12 ways of power adjustment with 4-way lumbar support. Also, EX trims and above will get memory seating ability. But let's go ahead and climb inside. And then shutting up the door here, let's look at the rest of the cabin materials. Over here on the door trim, we've got leatherette with stitching details running throughout, soft touch plastic through here, and then a piano black insert. It's a little hard to see, but there's actually ambient lighting kind of embedded into this insert and also all across the dashboard. The top part of this dashboard is finished in a leatherette with the piano black through the center section, and then it is not padded along the center console here, but it is nice and solid feeling. We'll fire it up with our push button start. And let's jump into some individual details of the interior. As always, we begin here with our gauge cluster. So this interior is going to be the same for as 2025 model year, meaning that we've got the new digital 12.3-inch display as standard on both SX and SX Prestige models. You can reconfigure several details of this screen, and that also unlocks your blind spot camera system feature. Additionally, the SX Prestige model, our top trim, gives you the very large and nice head-up display, which is a pretty rare feature for this minivan segment. Now, as far as the steering wheel is concerned, we've got the kind of, not the latest and greatest Kia design with the offset logo, but one of the newer designs. Leather-wrapped, it is heated on the top-end model, and manual tilt and telescoping across the lineup. We also have rain-sensing wipers as well. And let's turn our attention now to interior storage, because that's a big thing for a family vehicle, of course. And if we open up the center console, we're going to find some donuts inside. That's because here at Car Confections, we like to do the donut test, of course, to check the volume of the center console and compare. Well, this fits 18 donuts, so that definitely passes the donut test. That being said, this segment is extremely fantastic when it comes to storage. So you'll notice that the Carnival is down a little bit on storage compared to things like the Sienna and Odyssey, because they've gone for a more conventional console arrangement here that's very SUV-like. You don't have any of that free-forming space kind of in between or pass-through. You just have to make do with your wireless phone charging pad and your additional storage cubby right next to it. So overall, definitely not saying it's bad, but it doesn't stack up quite to the competition. Now, as far as the shifter is concerned, you're going to see we've got the traditional T shifter on the V6 model, rotary shifter on the hybrid. You go over here, you can shift manually, but there's no paddle shifters on the steering wheel. And then when you go into reverse, here's our 360-degree camera system. This is included on both the SX and the SX Prestige trims. This also gives you the ability to spin all around the van itself with the really high-quality graphics. And then you've got your electronic parking brake with brake hold located right behind that. Now in this little row here, you're going to notice a few functions. The main thing, of course, that you're probably thinking about, or at least I'm thinking about on a hot day, is the ventilated seat function. This is on both the SX and the SX Prestige, so you don't have to go all the way up to the fully loaded model to unlock that. And then most of the trims come with the 3-stage heated seats. Now, working our way up to this panel, we've got our climate controls. First of all, this is a 3-zone automatic setup, and you can just very simply use this knob here to adjust your temperature up and down. The rest of the buttons are touch sensitive. Now, of course, you've probably seen this in other Kia products. You can press that button there, and then magically your climate controls become your audio controls. Now you can use this as your volume knob, and in this case, our top model has a 12-speaker Bose sound system. Let's give it a sample right now. yeah, overall sound quality of this system is pretty good. Certainly fills up the cabin nicely and is going to be a good step up over the standard sound systems, which have 8 or less speakers depending on which trim level you choose. Now, let's zero in at our main display. Last year, this was given a standard 12.3-inch display. That continues for 2026, so that's on the larger side for the segment, especially as standard equipment. And inside of this screen, you've got all the critical features that you're going to be looking for, including wireless Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. That's what we have running right now. Now, I'll cycle into the main screen here and show you off the new CCNC software. This is Hyundai's latest and greatest, so the performance is quite snappy overall. Let me find there it is. Show you the camera as well. We can zoom in on Mason's butt there, but normally you'd be able to check out your kids and stuff. That also kind of highlights those VIP seats that I can't wait to have Mason show you guys in just a second. And then also inside the screen you have a built-in navigation system. Now up top here, we've got the auto dimming mirror. Since this is the top SX Prestige, we also have the digital camera system to cut out any back obstructions. And then of course, one of the really unique things about the Carnival that we've always really appreciated is the fact that it has a front sunroof with a sunshade, but it also has a back sunroof also with the sunshade. And the cool thing about it is it opens up. So these are 2 fully functional sunroofs if you choose the SX trim or above.
But the real star of the show is the back seat, so let's go ahead and start by talking about this. Now, I do want to mention, power doors with the kickability are standard equipment on every single Carnival model. As you can see right there, I'll go ahead and shut up real nice and easy. And then, of course, when it comes to the space back here, there is a ton of room. Now, this is the passenger seat, but we did make this adjusted exactly to Drew's 5'8" driving position. I'm 5'9" for reference. And as far as how much knee room we have a very impressive 11.5 inches of knee room. Now, as far as the official space figures, Kia sings about 40.5 inches of leg room and about 39.5 inches of headroom. Those are very good figures for a minivan. And of course, when it comes to seat functionality, you can slide these seats forward and backwards a very good distance, and they also do have the ability to slide side to side, as you can see right there. Now, as you can see, we have the VIP seating package. That is a no-cost option here on the SX Prestige. And before I really dive into all of those features, I do want to point out that it's 7-passenger overall. 8-passenger is a standard feature on this model, but if you want these really fancy seats, which I think you might, it's 7-passenger. Now, what does that include? Well, like I said, for $0 here on the SX Prestige, you can get a lot. So we have a fully power-adjusting second-row seat here. So as you can see, you can just do things like your backrest. You also do have a leg extension, and it's really cool because if I scoot this seat up, out of the way. So now that I've got my seat adjusted properly, all I did was press that one button, and as you see, it is completely tilting me back. And then I press this button, and that will go ahead and kick out my leg rest and extend it fully out. Oh my goodness, guys, this is quite the experience. This is literally probably the best second row seat I've ever sat in here in the VIP model because it is just so incredibly comfortable. I'm leaned completely back. The headrest is also hitting me in just the right spot. So this is a insanely comfortable rear seat area, and really no other minivan. Some of them might offer, a leg rest or whatever, but they do not offer this level of comfort, that is for sure. Now let me go ahead and kind of kick it back up into its normal seating configuration so I don't fall asleep. And I do want to point out that these seats are also going to be heated and ventilated, by the way, here with the VIP seating package. So that's also more additional nice things. Now, as far as the center section, we have 2 cup holders inside, a 12-volt outlet, a household outlet. Down below, we have a little storage cubby, and we also have USB ports in each seat back. Not done yet because we have our own climate controls over here on the right side. It's a 3-zone setup, vents coming out of the ceiling. We have the passenger talk button, and we also have our own controls for the second row moonroof that Drew mentioned just a little bit ago. But of course, we need to check out the third row as well. And in order to get back here, it is going to be a little bit more complex than other versions of the Carnival just because of the seating package. So be aware of that if you're going to be frequently using the third row. You kind of have to power tilt the seat back up, and then you can also slide it back just a little bit on the side. So it's going to be a little bit harder to get back into the third row. But overall, it's not bad whatsoever. Now, as far as the third row itself, we're going to be sitting at some really good figures back here, about 35 inches of legroom, about 38 inches of headroom. Those are definitely pretty good, but they're not quite as good as things like the Toyota Sienna and Honda Odyssey, so keep that in mind. Like I said earlier, I'm 5'9", and this seat is actually slid all the way back in its tracks, and I'm still sitting at about an inch of knee room. So overall, it's going to be quite comfortable, and of course you can slide this seat forward a little bit more. We have 3 seats back here. We also have plenty of features, including a cup holder, USB ports on each side, and third row window sunshades. By the way, you're going to have third and second row window sunshades on EX trims and above. Overall, when it comes to the third row rating scale, I'm going to absolutely say this is fit for adults. Now, walking up to the tailgate, of course, we do have a power one for this fully loaded example. And as far as the cargo space is concerned, we have some really good figures as well. About 40 cubic feet behind the third row of seats. If we fold the seats down, that gives us 87 cubic feet and has a maximum 145 cubic feet. Now, as far as how to fold the third row down, it's not going to be a power folding setup or anything like that, but it is really quite easy. So if you want to fold it down completely flat with the floor, you just use this one little handle, and that will fully allow the seats to kind of push down into that pit, or you can, leave them up and have a large storage area down below. Now, the important thing worth mentioning here is the VIP lounge seating package once more. So because it's a full power setup and all that, you do not have the ability to fully remove these seats from the rear or from the area itself. So that does mean you're going to have a lot less maximum cargo capacity as compared to other versions of the Carnival. So that's definitely something to keep in mind. Also, something to keep in mind is the fact that they don't fold flat at all. So that is definitely going to impede your overall cargo length and usability. So keep that in mind. Also, something to keep in mind would be the Carnival Hybrid. If you're looking for that, that does not impact your overall cargo capacity. As far as how it compares to the rivals, we'd encourage you to go to carconfections.com/vehicle rankings, because on there you can see things like overall cargo capacity as well as other areas of this minivan such as technology, luxury features, value, resale reliability. All those things are detailed for you because we have looked at all of the minivans in this segment and ranked them in those individual categories that might matter more or less to you. So if you want to make an informed buying decision, we definitely encourage you to check that tool out on our website. Now, back to this model, I do want to go ahead and get some cargo length, width, and height figures. So behind these second row of seats, if you're curious as to overall length, that's only going to be about 5 foot. Compared to your average Carnival where you could completely fold them flat, that goes all the way up to about 98 inches. So a big sacrifice in terms of overall cargo length. Now, behind the third row of seats, that's going to be starting right around here. 28 inches of length. As far as width, 47 inches. Height is going to be 39 inches with the seats folded down into the pit. And for those of you that really want to know all the figures, I'll go ahead and fold them up so you can see how deep this pit is as well. That's going to be a whopping 52 inches tall. As far as cargo load-in height, it's going to be a lot better than your average SUV at about 26 inches, so that's a very good cargo load-in height. We also do have a household outlet and a 12-volt power outlet as well. As far as spare tires, that's going to be included on your gas model, but not the hybrid. Well, guys, here we are behind the wheel of the 2026 Kia Carnival. In this test drive, we're going to be discussing quite a bit, as you can see on the screen right now. Of course, we'll also be getting things like our sound level reading, but first we need to go ahead and start with a hard acceleration.
All right. There's our acceleration up to 60 miles per hour. So, As you could tell from the acceleration there, you do have a decent amount of power even with the hybrid model. So with this, it is less powerful than the V6. So if you're choosing between the two, I think that's a main thing to highlight right from the start here. You're looking at 241 horsepower and 270 pound-feet of torque. And the hybrid system is composed of a 1.6-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine with your electric hybrid componentry.
Yeah, so like Drew was saying, that is less power than the gas model. That comes in at 290 horsepower from a 3.5-liter naturally aspirated V6 that has about 262 pound-feet of torque as well. So we spent extensive time before with the V6 model. It's a nice and smooth engine, and we actually did have the opportunity to switch on over. We reviewed the gas V6 model with that VIP rear seating package. Now we switched over to the hybrid model because we actually had not had the chance to show you all what the hybrid was like on this channel yet, so we wanted to make sure you could see that here with the hybrid. Of course, nothing really changes. This is a hybrid SX Prestige, so when it comes to things like the sound level reading, it will be as accurate as possible.
Alright, so that was an acceleration with the Sport mode, just to give you a little sample of what that's like. The default in this hybrid version is the Eco mode, so it's going to kind of dull the throttle response just a little bit. You might have heard a little chirp of the front tires. That's because we did actually kind of spin them a little bit, even on dry pavement. So keep that in mind because this vehicle is front-wheel drive exclusive. So that is something that is a little different than some of the competition. Not all the competition, but some of your main rivals, specifically on the hybrid front. If you're cross-shopping with the Sienna, which is only hybrid, that one does give you all-wheel drive traction. So it's an important thing to consider between the two, depending on what type of climate you live in.
Yeah. Now, as far as how power is routed to the ground, you may have noticed on that second acceleration as well that we actually do have a traditional automatic transmission, even here on the hybrid model. It's Hyundai Kia's 6-speed automatic transmission. We've sampled that in a lot of different hybrid products. It's reasonably smooth. However, if you choose the gas model, that gives you an 8-speed automatic, and that's also very smooth as well, but it's definitely a little bit different than your average hybrid system having the traditional automatic.
Yeah, I really like that this engine is quite quiet overall. It's pretty refined as well. I'm just noticing in comparison to the Sienna, which kind of scream at you when you go heavy on the throttle.
It doesn't sound quite as strained. Now, speaking of sound, let's go ahead and get our sound level reading going at 55 miles per hour. I toggled it to fan speed 1, and the rear climate is off. Sitting at 55.9 decibels is our sound level reading. We don't have to sit here and guess how it compares to other minivans on the market. We can find that at carconfections.com/sound level readings, where we've tested out all of them and see how quiet their cabins are. And indeed, that is going to be a very quiet cabin. All the Carnivals that we've tested out have been definitely on the low side, very quiet cabins, and this one's no different. It's a little bit louder than the 25 gas model that we tested out. That came in at 54.2 and is actually the quietest minivan that we've tested on the channel, but that's a significant level of quietness over things like the Sienna as well as the Honda Odyssey, so keep that in mind. All right, and let's quickly discuss the fuel economy. So for this hybrid model, we are sitting at 33 miles per gallon combined. That is a 12 mpg improvement over the gasoline variant, which comes in at 1825.21 mpg. So definitely a significant upgrade in terms of fuel economy for this hybrid model. That being said, the Sienna is certainly a little bit better and also has all-wheel drive.
Yeah, so its biggest rival does exceed it in overall fuel economy, but you do get the traditional automatic here, so if that's something you prefer and you're willing to get a little less fuel economy and front-wheel drive, something to keep in mind. And we'll talk about pricing, of course, at the end of the video, as we always do, but there's a little bit of a price premium as well associated with the hybrid system.
Yeah, it's around $2,000.
Let's talk about today's slam dunk and airball. I'm going to begin with the slam dunk, and that has to be value. A lot of these minivans, or the pricing, really seems to be getting out of control. Kia is at least giving you a lot of stuff for the money, that's for sure. Especially if you're talking about going for like that VIP lounge seating package we were showing off earlier as a no-cost option. That is a pretty darn cool.
Yeah. Now, on the airball side of things, what we're going to say is the front-wheel drive only. Not having an all-wheel drive system, I think, is a huge deal to many minivan shoppers, and a Kia, I really think it needs to add that. And then just as a small little side note, the VIP seating package is a very cool feature to have, that's for sure, but it also does have quite a few just practicality elements. The seats are kind of heavy to slide around and to do all those things, so if you're frequently using the third row, I'd probably still recommend just getting the regular 8-passenger version instead. And I do want to also, of course, talk about ride quality as well, wrapping things up. When it comes to this department, there is nothing to complain about. This has really fantastic ride quality. When you hit a bump in the road, it does a great job of soaking it up. Really, with the 19-inch alloy wheels on the outside, those are really not all that big anyway, so there's not a lot of intrusion. So certainly, I think you're going to be very pleasantly surprised and love taking this on road trips. Now, you may have noticed that not much changed for 2026 model year. That is, besides for pricing. Pricing, of course, changes every year, and this year it's only up about $440 on all the trim levels, so it's not really up in pricing much either. It's pretty much just a rollover model year vehicle. So as you can see, we have the 2026 Carnival SX Prestige right there on the window sticker. With all the options that we have, plus 1435 destination, which is really not very many options. We're sitting at $53,285. Of course, as far as the pricing for all the other models, you can see that on the screen right now. It starts around $37,000 and ends right around this $53,000 price point. Now, if you're looking to buy one or any new vehicle, we'd encourage you to go to carconfections.com/newcarquotes. The reason you do that is because we have a tool on our website that will connect you with local car dealers in your area to get you the best price. It's also going to give you access to invoice pricing information, which is a great tool for dealership negotiation. If you'd like to take advantage of that, we have a link in our video description and also a pinned comment down below. But buying a vehicle is about more than just the original MSRP, so let's go ahead and dive into resale and reliability. First up, let's talk about resale value. As an economics graduate myself, we took the time to develop what we think is a good estimate for this Kia Carnival's potential resale value. We estimate that after 5 years and 60,000 miles, it would be worth 49.02% of original MSRP, and after 10 years and 120,000 miles, 21.1%. Now, it is worth noting that is right at the industry average. It is going to be lower than other brands that you may be cross-shopping, though, such as Toyota and Honda, which have the highest resale value percentages.
Now, we've also done the same for reliability by developing the Combined Reliability Index. This takes into account several studies on reliability from trustworthy sources and combines them in a way that gives you a more holistic picture. In this regard, Kia is rated above the overall industry average for all vehicle makes.
Now, if you'd like to learn more about our resale values or our reliability data, be sure to go to carconfections.com/resale and carconfections.com/reliability. Buying a new vehicle is a very big decision, so you want to make sure you're making a smart purchase, especially if you're cross-shopping between different vehicle brands. Now, when it comes to your warranty, you do have a really good one. It's a 5-year, 60,000-mile basic warranty, a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. There is not complimentary maintenance. And guys, that's going to be it for our in-depth review of the 2026 Kia Carnival. If you enjoyed watching this video or found it helpful in your purchasing decisions, which we hope you did, we'd really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button down below. By subscribing, you're going to be a part of our Car Confections family, and we promise you won't want to miss out. We do a lot of cool car reviews, and we also do rollover model year changes so you can see what model year you might want to buy. If you're already a part of our family, thank you so much for your continued support, and we'll catch you next time as we sample more of the latest automotive delicacies.